Mobile trackers. Okay, so we had a brief discussion of the viewers. These are the products that you can use to find other people, connect, send messages, do this stuff. The next thing that most people want to do is they typically a person wants to add a tracker of some sort. I don't know why, but we do. A mobile tracker consists of a GPS system or global positioning system providing location info, a TNC to process the info at set transmission rates, and a radio to send the signal out. I wrote this. I should know the driver, right? You've all seen TinyTrack. That's what we've been using. This is a typical example of a tracker. GPS go in, convert, radio, transmit. That's how it works. Little box, 40 bucks about, if I remember correctly, for the basic unit. The important things to remember are your GPS needs to be set to output an NMEA, NEMA. I want to say NEMA because I'm used to NEMA. No, how do you say that? Data from the data port. Okay, and the one that he found does do that. Most of them do actually, but there are a few that don't. So you've got to be able to produce that strength. The TNC needs configuring to accept the data and to do something with the data once it's received. Not all TNCs have a GPS interface in them. Some of the older Camtronics do not. I've seen people go out to the Hamfest, they get it at a Swap Fest for $10, they say, look, I have a Camtronic. I'm not going to put myself on APRS. They plug it in, guess what? It doesn't work, because it doesn't have the software or the firmware to do it. And a lot of people with Camtronics, you can rip the chip out, get one from Tapper's website, burn it into an EEPROM. If you can find an EEPROM burn, it's that old, and then plug it back into the unit, and away you go.
Version at least 8.0 and higher, I believe.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I think you're right, like 8.01.
And that would be labeled as a CAM Plus. I think 7.0 is a CAM Plus is when that version came out for CAM Plus, and then the GPS stuff came in around version 8.
So when you're doing that Hamfest, Swapfest stuff, and you're going to do the tracking type of stuff, and you want to use a product like a Camtronics, make sure that it has the appropriate software to do the encoding that was required from the GPS to transmit out to the radio. Next slide, I guess. Why digipeaters? Okay, I'm not going to go into a great diatribe on how the data moves through the system and how it goes. That could turn into, learning X25 could be another whole 2-hour exercise. We're not going to go there. I'm going to sum it up in this nice little paragraph. APRS relies on a number of wide area digipeaters, TNCs and radio combinations. Matter of fact, we have one over at the Mountain View site. Okay? Installed at key locations in order to work properly. If you don't have digipeaters, what ends up happening is you've got to do everything line of sight point within a point of a circle where the receive sites are. With the digipeater, it's capable to expand your range like a repeater to a larger area. And digipeaters have the capability to pass off. He receives a packet, he stores it, and then when he's done, he retransmits it, and then the next digipeater gets it. The logic that's underneath that's called X25 defines how many hops you're going to go through, how many nodes you go through. It tries to deal with things like you got a digipeater here, digipeater here, digipeater here. This guy hears, and then he sends it back to this guy, who sends it back to this guy, and you get this circular thing going. It tries to deal with those type of issues. Obviously, you want key locations and cover the lightest area. Most wide digis in the APRS network respond to, these are specific for the digi people in the world, relay wide, trace wide 5, and trace 5 queries. Okay, if you want more information on that, see me after. Some digis are also set up as I-gates. Now let me discuss I-gates for a second. I-gates are internet gateways. What that basically means is that you take a digipeater, you plug it into your favorite DSL, cable modem, whatever you have, and you can publish this information to specific servers on the internet, like FindView. Okay? And it allows you to expand your world using the internet much broader, up to and including Europe. If you turn on your radio version of APRS like I have here, and you leave it on long enough, and you zoom out, you realize you've got bolts in the middle of the ocean, you've got satellites going over your head, Where did those come from? They're not line of sight to you, and they're probably not going to be close to your local node. They come from a inode connection to another server, which is serving it back to this inode, and then it rebroadcasts it back out. So what inodes are basically internet nodes that take this logic of digipeating to literally a global size. You could literally see any place, you know, a guy in Britain puts out an inode, and a guy in the United States puts out an inode, and they connect them together to a common gateway or common server. Hey, everything that this guy receives gets rebroadcast here, everything this guy sees gets rebroadcast there. Now there could be some argument, why would the guy in Britain give a rip about the guy in Minnesota driving on the freeway, but hey, you know, never know. And that's the end of the slideshow. You got 10 slides. I'm going to give you a quick demo. I'm going to have to stop I'm going to plug it in so you just get the chuckle out of this. In the middle of best laid plans of mice and men, I discovered that my laptop decided on the blue sky, well, not the blue sky, set up for 8 o'clock, so I guess it wouldn't be the blue sky, but I'm going to do my virus scan. So I will now have to stop the virus scan, stop virus scanning. Now we have to wait for McAfee to say, are you really sure you want to do that? And I'll say yes. And they'll say, you're really sure you